So, part 2 of debunking Stephen Anderson and his so-called documentary, going back to the Greek. But yeah, in his video, he claims that there's a Romanian guy who was adamant about icons in church, but he did not know if Christ died on the cross. And according to Stephen Anderson, that's basically orthodoxy. You know, we Orthodox are apparently illiterate. We don't know the Bible, apparently. And according to Stephen Anderson, one Romanian guy not knowing a simple biblical fact is somehow a representation of the entire Orthodox faith. Anyone who claims to be Orthodox and tells me they don't know anything about Jesus dying on the cross, I'll probably just tell them, hey, you're probably not Orthodox, bro. You can't be Orthodox and not know that Jesus died on the cross and rose on the third day. You're not Orthodox if you don't know that. It's a simple fact. It's taught in the church. It's taught through liturgy. It's in the Bible. Right? So yeah, if you claim to be Orthodox and you don't know that simple fact, I'll probably just tell you, you're not really Orthodox, are you, brother? Right? I'll ask you, are you really Orthodox? But according to Stephen Anderson, that's orthodoxy. We Orthodox are illiterate. We don't know the gospel story. We don't know this. But Anderson apparently knows the entire Bible. We don't, apparently. And what else did I want to debunk? Oh yeah, I don't know if it's really a debunking thing, but Stephen Anderson says that a lot of young people, they're more receptive to the gospel, right? And he's talking about the young people in Cyprus. And so he goes out and he preaches to them from the Bible, and he converts them and he saves them, right? He basically gets them saved. And he says the young people are more receptive to this. And he claims that if the Orthodox Church did their job, then the young people will not be listening to him, right? They'll be listening to the Orthodox Church. He's basically kind of right. Unfortunately, the Orthodox Church, the priests on Cyprus, did not do their job. And yeah, you have a lot of young people who claim to be Orthodox, but they're not really Orthodox. They don't know anything about the church, about Christianity at all. And you have some guy walk up to them, read some passages from the Bible, tell them, yeah, this is true. They're like, yeah, I never heard this before. This is pretty interesting, huh? My priest never talked to me about this. But okay, this makes sense. Cool. Let's get saved. I want to go to heaven because the Bible says, yeah, this is how you get saved, right? Of course, Anderson, like most Protestants, misquotes the Bible and whatever. But Anderson has a point. Yeah, unfortunately, Orthodox priests these days, I guess they're not really doing their job, especially on Cyprus, because that's where he filmed that documentary. And I'll say this, I wish the priests did their job and taught proper orthodoxy to those young people. And I also blame the parents. The parents are also to blame for this, because if the parents truly were Orthodox themselves, the parents would not just baptize their little baby and go to some holiday once a year, twice a year, celebrate Christmas once a year, Pascha, whatever, and that's it. No, you got to go to liturgy as much as possible. You got to go to the Vespers as much as possible, as much as you can. Like, I'm not going to be so adamant and say, oh yeah, you got to do this every single Sunday. It'd be perfect if we did this every Sunday, if we went to Vespers every week, but as much as possible, right? And if you could just sit down your kids and actually, teach them orthodoxy, that'd be great. Unfortunately, many so-called Orthodox parents don't do this with their kids, and so their kids grow up not knowing what the church teaches, and they fall for these guys like Anderson. They fall for these traps. And yeah, so if the Orthodox Church did their job, as Anderson said, they would not be so receptive to Anderson and his lies. The young people will not follow his lies. They will not fall for his his BS about being saved. They will not fall for that. If the young people were equipped by their priests and by their parents, unfortunately, that's what happened. But I'd like to say this to Anderson: if he did his job, Pastor Romero would not be going to a strip club in Texas, would he? Right? Yeah, Anderson. Like if Donnie Romero did his job, if you did your job, Donnie Romero would not be going to a strip club in Texas. Donnie Romero, he's a pastor. He's a man that you blessed to be a pastor. And then sometime later, he gets caught in a strip club. So Anderson, if you did your job, Pastor or so-called Pastor Romero would not be going to a strip club. Just saying, if you did your job, that would not have happened, right? Okay, that's all I have to say for now. Wait for part 3.